Christopher Long, President of the Center for Public Policy Innovation, and I'm joined today by Dan Caprio, co-founder and chairman of the Providence Group, and an internationally recognized expert on business strategy, cybersecurity, and privacy. Dan also serves on our CPPI Board of Directors. Welcome, Dan. It's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be with you today.
Looking forward to talking about what's next for privacy. Dan, as you know, privacy issues have been a priority of policymakers at all levels of government here in the U.S. and internationally. Please help me set the table on privacy. What is the outlook for privacy in 2022?
Well, thanks, Chris. Privacy remains at the forefront of the legislative agenda at the federal, state, and international level. There's been a number of interesting developments around privacy, and especially in the convergence of competition and privacy. The House and Senate Judiciary Committee passed a competition and antitrust bill that relates to tech platforms and the ongoing discussion and debate about tightening rules governing data sharing and third-party cookies and access to platforms, and forcing companies to develop new ways to market. And the big tech or antitrust challenges will continue to advance through legislatures at the federal level, through Congress and the states and the courts. And what's interesting about it is that, and even though the emphasis has been on antitrust, it's requiring policymakers and enforcement to finally confront the tension between competition interest, which of course seeks to expand access to data, and privacy interest, which seeks to limit access to data.
Okay, Dan, what's the congressional outlook then for privacy?
Well, I think Congress will continue to debate whether to pass a federal privacy law this year. This has been an ongoing discussion and debate for the better part of 20 years. And so I think it's safe to assume that it will continue the discussion and debate this year. The harder question is, whether Congress will finally pass anything. And I think in that regard, it's possible. Businesses, want a federal comprehensive privacy law. There's a lot of international pressure for it. And a lot of that's driven by the necessity to deal with more state privacy laws, to deal with perceived overreach by the FTC, the EU's heightened enforcement actions, and just the overall confusion that consumers have that's created by the fragmented privacy regimes that we have in the U.S.
Dan, related to that, what are the, you mentioned preemption, federal preemption of state laws is one area. What are the couple big areas of contention that is really getting in the way from Congress moving legislation forward?
Well, there are two primary areas of contention. I mean, privacy is very complicated, and there's a lot of interest in a lot of different issues. But the two issues where Congress is really stuck are private rights of action, or creating a private right of action, and then federal preemption. And so those are longstanding differences. They're philosophical differences. And those are very difficult to resolve. And that's really the main issues, the main reason why we haven't been able to move ahead with resolving those issues, to move ahead with a federal privacy bill.
What is the role of the executive branch? How can they impact the process here? Are there independent agencies that are taking a leadership role?
Well, the role of the executive branch is critical in terms of passing a federal privacy law. And over the years, there's been various efforts. There was a really strong effort in the Obama administration, launched a consumer privacy Bill of Rights. So on the federal level, I'm optimistic because we finally have leadership at the Department of Commerce and NTIA. Alan Davidson was just confirmed as director of NTIA, assistant secretary. And so Alan has a long history in privacy and technology. And so I think having a senior leadership in place at the Department of Commerce is very important for the overall executive branch. The other part that has been more and more important over the years is the independent agency and the FTC. And so I think the Federal Trade Commission will pursue an aggressive privacy agenda in 2022, pushing the boundaries of its legal authority and seeking to move the goalpost governing data collection, use, and sharing. I think the other thing that's to note as we think about 2022 is the FTC is a law enforcement agency, so it's an enforcer, and I think in all of its privacy cases, the FTC will seek very stringent remedies, including data deletion, bans on conduct, stricter consent requirements, individual liability, and significant monetary relief where that's available to the FTC.
Well, we've talked about the congressional outlook. We've talked the executive branch, independent agencies. How about the states? You know, a lot of the states I know are beginning to get impatient with Congress and the federal government. They're looking at their own legislation. What is the impact of what's happening in the states on the prospects of having privacy policy and privacy legislation?
Well, state privacy developments will continue to drive much of the U.S. Privacy debate. So we've had a number of states that have passed laws, including in California and Colorado. And both of those states will launch rulemakings this year to implement their laws. So companies will be gearing up for effective dates in terms of state law. January 1st, 2023, so this time next year, is the effective date for the California law, and of course the Virginia law takes effect on January 1, 2023, and July 1, 2023 for Colorado. So we will likely see additional state laws by the end of the year. Washington State, which has considered privacy the past couple of years, has introduced or is discussing a new privacy bill this year. And I think that bill, the Washington State bill, includes a private right of action, which of course gets to the issue, which is an impediment to federal action. The Colorado and Virginia laws do not include a private right of action, but the California law, which of course passed and was the first law to pass, does include a private right of action, but it's more limited in terms of cybersecurity and data breaches. So, the states really are the laboratories of democracy when it comes to privacy, and California, Colorado, Virginia, and if the Washington State bill passes, we'll continue to put pressure on the federal level.
Great. Now, looking abroad internationally, what's the transatlantic outlook? Can you share your thoughts on that?
Well, the transatlantic outlook is contentious. And it's contentious because of court rulings in Europe. The European Court of Justice invalidated the privacy mechanism or sharing of information called Privacy Shield a year and a half ago. And the Department of Commerce and the European Commission have been unable to reach an agreement on the resumption of sharing transatlantic information. And so that is a very big impediment. And there's lots of reasons why that happened. But I think for the transatlantic relationship, there needs to be really political will to solve this problem, because the transatlantic relationship is the most important economic relationship in the world, and the ability to share data is critical to that. And so there's been a number of very high-profile initiatives that have begun in the last year. One, of course, is the EU-US Trade and Technology Council, which is a very ambitious set of goals that includes platforms and some of the big tech and competition issues. But the issue of fixing SHRMS 2 or fixing privacy or sharing data across the Atlantic is one that continues to overshadow and has outsized influence over the transatlantic relationship. So I'm hopeful that we can come to a settlement or an agreement on that in the not too distant future.
Dan, we are just about out of time, but I thought I would give you an opportunity just to share your last thoughts with us on privacy, what you want us to be thinking about when we log off from today's discussion.
Well, thanks, Chris, and thanks for the opportunity. I think we're closer on a federal privacy bill than we've been for some time. Those of us who have been in this field for the past 25 years are optimistic and will continue to push for a federal bill. I think the work that we do this year will be important to what comes perhaps in 2023. But I think there is a broad understanding at the federal level, at the state level, at the international level, that privacy is a fundamental human right. And we've got to take the time to get it right. And I think that this year presents a unique opportunity to continue to advance the ball and move it down the field. And we'll hope to, by this time next year, to either have a federal privacy law or be closer than we are this year.
Dan, it's been a wonderful and informative discussion. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me and sharing your thoughts on what's next for privacy.
Thanks, Chris.